Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack Podcast, Tears of the Kingdom Hype Trailer Edition. I am so excited to talk about it with you, Donnie. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. I've had a fun weekend. Had a good morning. So I'm all here, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh. We're going to talk about all of our thoughts, all of our theories, all of our speculation. It's very exciting stuff. I feel like I've been waiting for this one hype trailer. You know, like the one we talked about, the one for Breath of the Wild in January.
Everybody's been talking about.
Yeah. I know. And I was just waiting for that one. I was like, are they going to do it? And I feel like we'll talk about it more soon, but I feel like this trailer really mirrored that trailer in a lot of ways, just like format wise. So I feel like that's what I wanted. That's what I've been waiting for. And that is the hype that is going to carry me to May 12th.
Yeah. It's like 20 days, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's so soon.
Like
it's so fast.
It's so soon.
There's 2 games I want to play before then. I don't know how I'm going to do it.
What do you want to play before then?
Advance Wars, which just downloaded, just registered, and Redfall.
How long's Redfall? Well, I guess
no
nobody
idea.
knows, do they?
No clue.
Yeah.
But
Advance Wars is pretty long. So it's obviously 2 games. I've still been kind of, chipping away at it. I can't remember where I was at last week, but I beat the first game. The last mission took me so long. I can't talk about it yet. I can talk about it on Wednesday. That's when embargo is up, but it was really tough. It wasn't even like it was one attempt on the last mission. Like, it's not like I kept like failing and having to do it over and over and over again, but like just the one single attempt took me like 2 or 3 hours to do.
That's
it was
good
so long because it was just like I don't know. It's a very fun game. The second one is a lot like the first one. The story is like stupid. Like, I'm gonna be honest. It's corny. I know that's like the fun of it. I didn't really buy into the story. I was like waiting for this one like I had a prediction for a twist to the story that would have been like pretty cool, but then it never happened. So like really this is about the gameplay. There's a lot of like collectibles that you can buy in the shop with coins. You get coins for doing really well on the missions, like by beating missions in a short amount of days, which is turns, having like a good strategy. I don't really know how it's calculated, but you get coins. You can unlock like songs and like different color palettes for your commanding officers and different maps to use for the war room zone.
Yeah.
I tried multiplayer yesterday with somebody else who's the game, and I think the one like really disappointing thing, well, there's 2 disappointing things. Like, surprise, surprise, Nintendo dropping the ball with online features, but you can't do asynchronous matches. Like, I know that's like popular in strategy games. Yeah, like if me and you want to battle each other, we both have to be active during like the whole, and like these matches get long, and I would imagine like with 2 very skilled players, they could get like really long. And so I know other tactical games have it where like you can send your move and then the other player can like get to it when they want to.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the game open. There's nothing like that in this game. It's very unfortunate. Also, you can't like just like the friend matchmaking thing, I think it's just very like not intuitive as usual with other Nintendo games. Like, we kind of struggled to connect a little bit despite being on each other's friend list.
I feel like that's just Switch. Is that not the case?
No, it is the Switch. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not just this game. That's what I mean. It's like other Nintendo games and other Switch games.
Gotcha.
It's just like bogus. But the other thing that I think is like pretty disappointing is there is a map editor. I believe that was also in the original, like a level editor. And I was kind of imagining, like it would be a Mario Maker thing where you could make an awesome map and get a code and like post it online, and other people could like try your map with, just like an endless supply of them. But no, you can only challenge your friends' maps. So you have to have them registered as a friend to play their custom maps. Which,
Gotcha.
I think is kind of silly, because if I spend all this time on a map, I want, as many people as possible to play it. Like, I
It
don't
definitely
want to
lessens the appeal.
yeah, I don't want to have to add somebody to my friends list just so that they can play my map.
Sure.
But other than that, those are like complaints. The gameplay is a lot of fun. It is like kind of addictive. It's like one more mission kind of thing. And I feel like for people who are really into this, there is a lot of replayability too, with like, you can unlock there's the casual mode, classic mode, and then you can unlock a challenge mode for like really skilled players.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's probably really intense, because sometimes I struggle with the casual mode. But yeah, it's fun gameplay. I'm enjoying it.
Great. I'd imagine that Advance Wars probably won't be one I'm too consumed with beating. Like, I just want to get into it and I want to play it. I don't know how long it'll stick with me. The stories aren't as rich as Fire Emblem, and that's usually the driving factor that keeps me going in a Fire Emblem game. So if that's not going to be
I think if you're looking for story, the story it's not story.
Yeah,
I was like, really wish that they made no story, because it's so cheesy. It's like, it's like
Yeah, for me, I think this will be mostly just a nostalgia play.
Yeah.
I'll probably play it for a few days, get my fill. I mean, I always wish it would come back, and that's just so many of Nintendo's games are. I mean, Nintendo's a Japanese company, so this isn't like going out there. So many of their games are Japanese centric.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked back when we had Advance Wars and Battalion Wars and just more games like that. There's plenty of that in the PC space. Like if you want to get really heavy into like Civ or Age of Empires or something like that, but there's not a lot of Western style games, I think, in Nintendo's wheelhouse, and this was one of them.
Yeah.
And I think just that's the appeal. I love Fire Emblem, as you know. It's probably one of my favorite franchises, but it's nice to mix it up every now and again, to not have cavalry and lances and archers. It'd be cool to have, planes and tanks, and it's fun. So I'm that's what I'm here for. I just want to kind of see
it is good for that, and it's good, like
back.
Baby's first tactical game.
Yeah, I think that was always what it was meant to be. It's kind of like Kirby Tactics,
Yeah, it's cute. The it's very visually appealing. Like it's like toys, like little colorful. It's cool. I'm learning war terms.
Yeah,
so it's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm a very non-violent person, Donnie. So it's like very funny for me.
I was going to say, I remember when the game was originally supposed to come out and we had the war and everything, and everybody's like, oh, we can't release a game like that. I've never thought that was really the case.
I think it would have been very inappropriate to release it at that time.
People on Twitter would have tried to make it inappropriate, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I think
really
it's
if Call of Duty can release.
The way that it approaches invasion for like very superficial reasons, with like taking over cities and like bombing and stuff, like I think they made the right choice for sure.
I mean, yeah, I think it was probably the right decision. I just want to say that I think if another developer had made the game, I think it would have come out, and I don't think anybody would have cared. Maybe. I think a lot of that is people's expectations on Nintendo. I think if Ubisoft had made Advance Wars and released it, I don't think anybody would have given a damn, to be honest with you.
Maybe. I think people are used to Ubisoft making questionable choices.
A lot of folks released war-like games during that time that nobody cared about, but there seemed to be a heavy focus about, can Nintendo release Advance Wars? What about the kids? We have to save the children. It's a bit much. It was a bit much. And when you play Advance Wars, I think the people that maybe don't know, you'll realize why. It's very silly. It
is very silly, but I do feel like the unserious nature of invasion would have been in bad taste.
Yeah, I think it's because Nintendo. you're right. There is an invading thing. They're scheming to take over each other's land. So like you have the general premise. I honestly just think it's because it's Nintendo. That's why.
Probably. Yeah, maybe. I still think they made the right choice.
I do too. I'm not saying they didn't. I do too. I just think, given that at every moment, like at the time where nobody really knew how it was going to shake out, it was smart to put it off.
Yeah. That's really how I've been spending my time this past week, playing, that game. I did a little fun virtual couch co-op yesterday with some friends on my Twitch channel. We played Pokemon Stadium, among some other things on NSO. Oh man, the lag was so bad. It was like really not good.
How many more of these have to release before you?
Well, no, I mean, I feel like it's hit or miss. Like we played GoldenEye and it like was not this bad. Pokemon Stadium, it was unplayable. And I don't know if maybe it was just like, one of our connections or something. Like it got a little bit better. We moved on to Mario Party and stuff. The mini games were kind of hit and miss with the lag, but it was actually so bad it was funny. We were like laughing so hard of just how impossible some of these games were.
Wow.
But yeah, clearly it wasn't just the lag. I think also one person in particular like totally wiped us in every single game. So clearly the lag wasn't totally like game breaking for all of us, but it was fun. Just fun time.
Good.
Yeah. What have you been up to this week?
Dollars money out of it.
Yeah, well, Pokemon Stadium is. Did I say Snap or Stadium? I meant Stadium.
Yeah.
That game's very nostalgic for me. The mini games. We played the mini games because that has 4-player multiplayer, and it was fun just to like go back and like. That's like one of the few games that I think I actually like played with friends growing up. With people next to me, so it was fun to like go back and like actually play that multiplayer again.
Did it hold up?
Yeah, I mean, we like got maybe like 30-45 minutes of enjoyment out of it, because there's only 9 mini games. And then we felt the need to move on to some other stuff. That Kirby and the Crystal Shards, that has some fun multiplayer mini games in it.
Oh, really?
There's 3. Yeah, there's 3 of them, and it was actually really fun. I had never played those before.
Nice. A lot of Kirby games, at least the ones that have like the little battler mini games or little battle with friends games and stuff, they are a lot of fun. They seem to test a lot of mechanics and stuff in the Kirby games that nobody plays.
Yeah,
I still want to play that one, that Fall Guys-esque dessert one that they released. I just never have bought it. I keep wanting it to go on sale. I don't think it'll ever go on sale.
The gourmet Kirby's
it's already
gourmet
like
deluxe.
super cheap.
Yeah,
it's like $15, but I'm just like, I keep waiting for one day. They're like, it's $7. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Does anyone even play it? Kirby
I don't think so.
Gourmet.
I don't think so.
Gourmet rate. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it's called. I played a lot of things this week, or at least I guess I have. To be honest with you, if you check my game log, the majority of my time on Switch this week has been spent playing Retro Bowl, which I won't talk about how great it is for another 20 minutes, but I will tell you just once again, it's incredible. It's a great game. It's addictive. But we went to a car show this week. I've been out and about, so I've been playing my Switch a little bit more. I wanted to play Resident Evil. I haven't been back to Resident Evil in a couple weeks, and I just haven't got to it. I'm hoping to do it today. Today, I would like to cut the grass and then play Resident Evil. But in between the last time I played Resident Evil now, I beat Dredge.
Nice. How was it?
It was great. The ending is not like super long. And it's kind of what I expected. Remember, we talked about good and bad endings. I watched the alternate ending. I wouldn't go out of my way to accomplish that unless you're like, chasing achievements or something. Like it's.
Did you get the good ending or bad ending or?
I got the regular ending. I got the default ending. Okay. But I liked it a lot. I think by the time I had gotten done with it, it's probably just because I was so hooked by it. I played so much of it. By the time I reached the end, like I was kind of ready for it to be over. It's just really fetch questy. You're just doing a lot of that. I think had I taken it in smaller doses and not tried to like beat it so fast, I don't think that would have bothered me as much. But I loved the game. Just the chill little nature of going around and fishing, and then this monstrous Lovecraftian horror element that comes out at night was just a really great mix for me. I
Nice.
did go back and beat Goodbye World. I had to play it about another 30 minutes.
Okay.
And that was excellent. I still think you should play that game. I actually think that maybe
That's that top-down one, right?
yeah, it's the kind of like 70s pixel art game about a game dev that's making a game
Yeah.
and a
I
fourth
think I
wall.
wishlisted it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it. I think it's when I finished it, I was like, this is a Rebecca game. Not necessarily my jam, but I think you might get a little bit more appreciation out of it than me. I liked it.
I'm gonna go hard with these indies over the summer.
Nice. Speaking of those, I'm playing Formula Retro Racing World Tour. If nobody has ever heard of this game before, this is the sequel to the previous release racing game called Formula Retro Racing, which I adored and played on Switch and loved. I'm playing the sequel on PC just because I got a sweet deal over there. It's also great. It's more like just the base game though is still very good. I don't know about the sequel. Like, if you were like Donnie, which one should I get? My answer is going to be whichever one's cheaper. Like, just find a good deal and buy the cheapest one because the sequel feels a lot just more of the same. Like, it's more tracks, more race cars. They have like this new stock car mode where you kind of drift around tracks, like you almost race sideways, like in ovals, like NASCAR kind of. I honestly, they could have taken that out. I don't necessarily think that was even worth doing. I was like, this isn't very fun at all. But the actual racing that I showed up for, like the Formula One like tracks with cars, is really fun, and it's still really fun. So if you're looking for a cool race, it's kind of like virtual racing. For anybody that remembers, like it's got like that Dreamcast, polygonal kind of PlayStation 2 look. It's very hyper colorful, very contrasty. It's a lot of fun. I'm digging it. I'm digging the sequel. I'm not upset that I bought the sequel. I just realized pretty quickly on it. It's more of the same, which some people may, knock a sequel for. Like, I'm still here to win all the cups and get all the stuff and start chasing time trials and stuff. It's really good.
Yeah. Okay.
The last game that I want to talk about is a game that I started last night. You remember, probably about a month ago at this point, I went on a little recent run where I was just buying up all of these cheap ass indie games, and one of them that I came across was called Splatter Zombie Calypse Now. Like Apocalypse Now. It's Zombie Calypse Now. Yeah, you see what they did there?
Yeah, what's that all about?
So this is from Untold Tales, which makes a lot of games that I really like Golf Club Wasteland and Hong Kong Massacre and Aspire and Arise. These are all games that I've played over the years. So like this developer or this publisher is starting to like become more notable for me because I've played a lot of these games. I've gotten review codes for half of these games, or I've bought them for super cheap. There have never been games that I've paid like $30 or $40 for. These are all games that I think I've paid $10-15 a piece for. And the more and more I've played them, the more and more I've come to recognize, kind of like their little splash screen and their logo. And I'd never heard of this game. It was on sale, and I saw the Untold Tales thing in the eShop, and I was like, oh, okay. And it was like $1.99, and I bought it. It is a twin stick shooter. Kind of like, it's not like a crazy like bullet hell shooter, not like a console you're going to hold the stick and just start firing in every direction like that. It's like you're going to pull the trigger. So it's like a shooter. Not as fast or as smooth, but in the same vein as like a Hotline Miami. So think of like a top-down Hotline Miami, but think of it like Max Payne. It's so Max Payne. There's so much Max Payne. Like the little cutscenes and the characters, they got these still visuals. It's very like black and white with like blood spatters, and it's very like
it
noir.
Looks very violent.
Yeah, and it's very noir. Like he'll just come across, he'd be like, and that's the last time that I saw Jim. Anyway, the world keeps spinning. And then you just go into the next mission, and it's so good. I was like, this is great. How have I never heard about this before?
Okay.
You shoot boxes to get you shoot boxes as you're going through all these different environments, like on the mall and outside and alleyways and stuff. There's boxes. Of course, they're like burning barrels you can blow up. You can shoot the lights out if you want. But when you start tearing up some of this environment, they'll drop health packs, or more importantly, money, and then use the money to upgrade your gun so you can keep going and be stronger, faster, all of that stuff. I'm digging it. I love Max Payne though. I absolutely love Max Payne. It's my favorite games. I can't wait for the remake. So if you're into Max Payne or you like things like a Hotline Miami, or games in that vein, I would tell you to give it a look if it's on the cheap. It's not amazing by any means, but I'm digging it. I didn't realize once I found out how Max Payne it was, I was like, oh, I'm beating this game. It went from, oh, I want to try this game out because I like shooters and I like zombies to, oh, I've got to beat this game because I'm here for the cheesy storytelling. Like I want to know all about this character. This is great. So kind of a nostalgia fill for me, but enough of me talking about Max Payne and all that.
People don't want to hear about Max
people don't wanna
Payne,
hear about
Donnie. They
any
want
of
to
this.
hear about Tears of the Kingdom.
They're like 20 minutes and then they're like, what the hell is this show doing?
I know people are trying to skip ahead. All like, I don't care about Advance Wars
Yeah.
or zombies. Tears of the Kingdom. We got our hype trailer.
Yep.
Oh boy. Did you feel all the emotions?
No.
What?
So that's the thing. I don't know what it is.
Donnie.
Okay. I would have been perfectly fine. I was perfectly fine. I said on the podcast last week, if they never said anything else about this game.
Of course.
I didn't
we
need
would've
this
loved it. We would've
trailer.
loved it.
I wasn't searching for more hype. I didn't understand the people that were. I wasn't trying to relive 2016 and get that trailer all over again. Like that wasn't me. That said, I wasn't prepared. Like I wasn't ready for how good that trailer was.
Okay, we're good now. I was like ready to throw fists. No, we're good. We're good.
When that trailer, I was like, oh God, this is so, it was so, what I said in the Discord, I didn't say much about it. I won't even get into it. We had a work thing that was kind of keeping my attention at the moment. Leading up to this game for the years, not even the past year, the years going into this game, I've been saying things like, how do they meet this expectation? How do they live up to the bar that's being set? Like, is it even possible? Are we going to be too hard on this game? And in one trailer, yes. I was like, how do they ever make another Zelda game? Like, how do they, I haven't even played it yet. And I was like, how do they top this? It was so dense that like, I was almost like mind numbed by the time it was over. Like there was so much to take in that I couldn't even remember everything I had just seen. Like it was just so much. I was just like, it was like overload. I was like, wow.
This is the trailer that I'll be watching daily until May 12th.
You're going to see, I'm not, I'm good. I don't want to know anything else. Just let me play the game now. Like I don't want to know anything else. I haven't looked into the analysis. I'm here for your theories. I want to know what all the things you saw, but like just the things that I even remember. And I remember I was like, I almost like, when I watched the trailer twice. I watched it by myself and I watched it with Jack. And the first time I watched it, I was like, what the hell did I even just see? And the second time I was like, I feel like I need to take notes because there were so many little things that I saw that I was like, I want to know what that is. But see, that's what I'm trying to hold on to. I want to find that out for myself. I don't want somebody to tell me. That's what I want. I want to go figure that out for myself. So at this point, I'm kind of 0 dark 30. I don't want to know too much.
That's completely fair. I love, picking apart, I don't want to know like, well, that's not true. I was going to say, I don't want like things like leaked to me or whatever, but I do like picking apart the trailer and making theories and hearing what other people think and coming up with these ideas because almost always we're totally off base. I remember there were theories about the Tears of the Kingdom title and what it means, and everyone's like, oh, people are the kingdom's crying, it's clearly tears, not tears, and everyone was so certain that it was like, oh, the sadness of the kingdom. But now just that trailer proved that there are these little tear collectibles that each of the main characters have. If you only watched the trailer once, I don't know if you even saw this, but Riju, who is a little bit more grown up now, shows the passage of time, has been a couple years, has one on like her earring. Zelda holds one. Ganondorf has one on his forehead. Link has his. All these main characters have a little tear, and there's 7 of them, and they line up to those tears that are on that like wall, that little like little things. So I think that's gonna have a big part of the game, collecting those. I don't know. Where do you even want to start? I feel like what do we jump into theories? Do we talk about the trailer? Do we talk about the gameplay? What do you want to do?
That's a good question. Small
There's
bites,
so
right?
much here.
Just
There's so much
start
here.
somewhere. Pick one. I'll start here. I just put this in the notes just a few minutes ago before we started. The official Tears of the Kingdom website has revealed this. Link begins his journey on one of the many mysterious floating islands that have suddenly appeared in the skies above Hyrule. It's there our hero will gain new abilities before returning to the surface to begin his epic adventure. I'm not sure if that was widely known. I didn't anticipate we would be beginning in the sky.
No.
Yeah, so like they that's a definite little thing there that's on the website. I don't think that's like a spoiler. It's like a good frame of reference. I think that's putting me in the right mindset, because had I just started the game and been up in the clouds, I'd be like, wait a minute, what? I was very much expecting us to like go revisit all of your favorite places and then let's go upstairs, and it's not going to be that
I don't
at
think
all.
so. I think, that is a good expectation to have. They showed us that gameplay trailer a couple of weeks ago of the Sky Islands, and it feels to me like that is like early on in the game.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably be something like the Great Plateau.
The plateau,
where we will, it'll serve as a little tutorial. There will be
Yep.
little things to do up there where we get the basic mechanics, where we can't go down to the surface yet, but until we're able to have the ability to get back up there, which I guess we need a couple little tools to do so. I think in order for us to start in the sky, they're going to have some kind of cutscene or something in the beginning to show like why we're there, because I feel like the premise of Breath of the Wild, like we had no memory. Like we have to figure out why we're on the Great Plateau and why we are coming out of a cave and figuring out our quest. But this is a little bit different, where we know how Breath of the Wild ended, and now there has been a time skip of at least, what would you say, 3 or 4 years it must be for Riju to grow up that much. Yeah. For Tiba's son, I forget his name, Tulin, is that what it is, to grow up that much? Which that's an interesting piece too. They're replacing Tiba, and we have no sign of Goron life, like Yunobo. Where's he? I don't know. There's just so much to unpack here, Donnie. Yeah, I think it'll be cool that we start in the sky. I think the implications of why, like, that sky islands exist when we start.
Yeah.
Is an
and
interesting
I think you're right. I think they'll start something with, especially if like they're going to start with like the world and how it's changed. You're going to get a cutscene with what happened, and then the sky, I guess, is falling into the surface or whatever, and then they start you there. And they're like, like you've got to get your runes, right? You've got to get your abilities. We have to check and make sure that they know that you know how to use them correctly before they send you off, which makes sense.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about Zelda, the princess. Okay. And, some of the characters that she was interacting with. We saw some new characters, like that weird blue face triangle, guy. I don't really know. Like, he's a Zonai character, I would assume. And then the lookalike Zelda, like she is like that, like weird dark-skinned kind of princess with light hair. She looked like she could be Zonai too. Remember, my old theory was that Zelda falls into that abyss and dies. Yeah. And we have to like revive her. That is no longer my theory. I don't think
no longer. It's been replaced, off the board.
However, I think there could be either, I have like two like trains of thought here, that either she falls and it's kind of like a Majora's Mask thing where like she falls into like a time skip to the past kind of thing, or the Zonai have been like camping out underground. Maybe they have been like retreated underground hundreds, thousands of years ago, and like now they have settlements underground or something like that.
That would be my theory.
Yeah, that like the Zonai have been just living under there for thousands of years, and everyone thought they were gone.
Which we had that big Reddit thread, right? That I shared a while ago that was talking about all this stuff like about a month ago. This trailer did a lot for me to think that might be true.
Really? I thought the opposite.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute, he might be onto something here.
That's fair. Yeah, so and I think that, you know, Zelda will be lost like with the Zonai. Maybe she'll be like mistaken as their princess or something because she looks like the other princess, kind of, sort of. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good theory.
But I do want to say at the end of the trailer when she says, Link, you have to find me. Do you remember that part?
Mm-hmm.
And people have already found her where she is when she says that based on her surroundings. They pinned it down to right behind the Temple of Time on top of the Great Plateau.
Okay.
She is standing right there when she says that. So, like, how cool would it be if, like, we start on the Great Plateau in the first game and we end on the Great Plateau in the second game? Would be very, like, brings it all around kind of thing. But that's my, like, surface level thoughts of the story, I guess, element of it. Yeah, she does look like an alternate. I think she is like the Zonai princess. I thought at first that each of the three characters maybe had a Zonai counterpart, like that woman, that like pretty, you know, dark-skinned, light-haired woman is their Zonai princess Zelda. That we might play as the Zonai Link, how he looks, you know, with the long hair, all the weird like tattoos and stuff. Like that's Zonai Link. And then I couldn't figure out what the Zonai Ganondorf would be, except maybe that blue-skinned character would like maybe turn out to be bad. I don't know.
Gotcha. I've seen a lot of people say that that was either Hylia. I've seen people suggest that Zelda will actually just become that person. I saw a theory on Reddit that Zelda was going to put herself in the sword and it was going to be like a Fee thing all over again. I've seen too many theories to that I've even wanted to, like, just in scrolling. I haven't really been diving into them. Like I said, I'm good. That trailer,
there's so many theories and all of them are good too. Like I would be happy with any of these.
the trailer seems so much more story focused, which gives me a lot of hope. You know, we were talking about leading up to it. How could this game be better than the first game? And my answer has always been, it could tell a better story. And it seems like already that might be the case. I don't know if that's overreaching from just a trailer, but in this trailer, there was a lot of elements that would lead you to believe there's a lot of story behind them. Otherwise, it's going to feel very nonsensical. Like there's a lot of questions asked. And in a way that I don't feel like was the same with the first game in that first story trailer. Like I didn't come out of that first story trailer. It didn't seem like there was as much ground to cover. Like in the first one, and you're like, I got it, right? Like the world's under attack, and then they failed, and you know, like you kind of get it. You got the story, the gist of it.
Yeah.
This one, I don't feel like we have the gist at all. Like we don't know what happens. We know it goes places. There's a lot of places it goes. So we'll see how well they pull that off, or how we'll see just how they pull it off. Do they pull it off in some sort of linearity? Is it like before? You've got to find the story. I hope not. We'll see.
I think that, you know, for the first game, they really emphasized how you can, once you get off the Great Plateau, you can go straight to Ganon and beat the game, or you can do some of the Divine Beasts or some of the shrines, or, you know, you can kind of make your journey and do as much or as little as you want. They haven't really said anything like that for this one, how you can just go straight to the final boss, or, you know, you can make it your own journey. Like, we know that it's going to be kind of that open world, open air type of gameplay, but I think there is going to be a little bit more either linearity to this one or more requirements to beating the game. I do think that, you know, there will be, I'm trying to use the word dungeons, but like, whether they're dungeons or just like dungeon-like quests that must be fulfilled before we beat the game. I think it's going to be more along that route than
I'm hoping that we can just
do whatever the heck you want.
I'm hoping we get more scripted story. You know, unlike the first one where you got to follow it. Like I just want, as things unveil, just bring me cutscenes. I don't need to go find them.
And I think it'll be something like, and I'm using the word dungeons, but you know what I mean by just dungeon-like quests.
Yeah.
You know, every time you beat a dungeon, you can do them in any order. You can, you know, find what you want in any order, but the storytelling will be progressive and linear. So maybe I beat dungeon A first, you beat dungeon B first, and after we both beat our first dungeon, a part of the story happens. The same part of the story happens for both of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that'd be good.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the best way to do open world storytelling.
And the trailer was like, what, 3 minutes?
Yeah.
There was so much there, and none of it was like, it's Minecraft. You can build your own everything. You know, like, I was really happy about that personally.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, I just kind of forgot that that even existed for a minute. And I was like, okay, it doesn't, you know, like, I saw a few things where things were like fused together, but it didn't seem to be like this overwhelming. It didn't seem like to be like Nintendo can be. We've got to make sure that everybody knows that we can like put the things on shields and stuff. Like, it didn't seem to be like that. You know, they were like, yeah, you can do it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
the
This
focus
is
of
part
what
of the
we're doing.
gameplay.
Yeah.
The other little things that were exciting me, seeing just glimpses of things like Link on the horse pulling a carriage of people.
Yeah.
It kind of gave me flashbacks to like that one quest in Twilight Princess where you have to defend the wagon cart.
I didn't
But
even
this
think
time
about
you're
that.
pulling the cart. Yeah,
That's a
I
good call.
immediately thought of that one. Like
I
just
thought
like
of
little
that.
quests.
I thought
feel
of Twilight Princess on the like the rail battle when they were on like yeah, I was thinking of that.
Yeah.
And then but while you're talking about vehicle combat, when they had like those two, I don't know what they were, those giant vehicles like some with the villagers and like the stone with the Bacala, and they were going at each other, I was like, what is happening? I want to know so much more.
BattleBots.
It's like, are we just like full out just going to war? Like, this is so much cooler in so many ways.
Donnie, it did look like there were instances, and I don't know if this is going to be gameplay or cutscenes, but us fighting alongside other characters.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is pretty unusual for Zelda in general.
Absolutely.
We usually don't fight along other characters. Obviously, we did in Age of Calamity, totally different game. But, you know, seeing things like Sidon, like, I kind of hope that it's gameplay and not just cutscene, where, you know, maybe we do a dungeon that helps Sidon and, you know, maybe we recruit him and he's somebody who can, like, you know, in certain areas or certain quests fight next to us.
It'd be cool if we got like little Hyrule Warriors like segments where we in a little battalion could just square off and like go take back this area or this town. You know, like that's kind of what I was hoping for, what I was seeing. I was like, oh man, are like we gonna go take back this settlement? Like off, dudes. Like, this is ours. Like, I'm here for that in so many ways.
My other little theory is that, you know how there's like 7 of those tiers, the little tier slot, 7 or 8, depending on how you look at it, I guess, but 7. What other game, Donnie, has 7 of something important?
Ocarina.
And it's the 7 sages. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if each of these characters has their tier, perhaps they are sages, and, you know, we have to.
But I mean, Ganon's a sage.
They're sealed in the beginning, but yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy?
I don't know.
The implications of that. Maybe he either stole it or he was granted it, or I don't know.
I mean, the Gerudo had a
medallion.
That's more exciting. Like, they had a sage, so I guess that makes sense. But
so I think
I was thinking that maybe you need.
That he has one.
I was thinking that maybe you need all of those tiers to either seal something or unlock something, something big.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they'd be, but Briscoe says here the real question is that first clip of Ganondorf, is it actually Demise? It'd be so awesome if Demise made an appearance.
So I was talking about this. I was on HMK's podcast on Friday, and we were talking a little bit about Demise, and I don't think that is Demise, but I think it's Ganondorf. But I think it's possible that he is channeling Demise in a greater way than he ever has before. Which, this is really the first game that we have Ganondorf since Demise's introduction, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. This is the first game since Twilight Princess, 17 years ago.
G-Man, since we're here, G-Man says, do you think Ganondorf looks sexy?
Yes, he does.
I heard this on Jeff's podcast. Apparently the internet's all thirsty for Ganondorf.
Daddy Ganondorf.
He looked mighty impressive. That's for damn sure. So, I mean, it was.
Yeah, I love this design. Looks like he has hit the gym.
Oh, for sure.
Shirts don't fit him anymore. Very exciting. He has like this man bun. It's so good. It's very good. He looks very scary. Matt Mercer, by the way, voicing him, confirmed. I know a lot of people guessed that based on what we heard before, but he has officially come out and said that
he's from what, like Overwatch?
He's from like everything. I looked up his voice credits. He voices so many things. He voices Chrom and Fire Emblem.
Oh, that I
He
didn't
has a
even know.
voice in Overwatch. He has voices in like a billion animes, like Attack of Titan.
Gotcha.
I don't watch anime, but there's like a
It is like
million
Critical
that
Role,
he's
right?
voices
I'm not
in.
too familiar with it,
Critical
but I
Role,
get the
yeah.
gist.
He's
I
the
knew
dungeon
that. I just
master
didn't know
there.
his credits for the other things outside of Overwatch.
Yeah,
So
like
that was-
hundreds and hundreds of things.
yeah.
And he's gonna do an awesome job. I think that's a brilliant choice. Oh man, I'm so excited, Donnie. I like.
Me too.
I can't wait.
I might be playing this. I might be playing this game for the rest of the year. Like the
You
game.
remember?
The game looked. I feel like I am extrapolating way too much from a 3-minute trailer, but in 3 minutes, I was shown so much more than I could have ever imagined. Like that's my only thought is like how, like if I played Breath of the Wild as long as I played it the first time, like how long am I going to be playing this game?
Right.
Like like there just seemed to be so much there. I've never been clubbed over the head with so much content.
It feels to me like this is going to be the same awesome discovery and exploration and novelty that we experienced in Breath of the Wild, but is also correcting or bringing back some of the problems that people had with Breath of the Wild. Like, I think there will be some more linearity to the story. I think, there will be more dungeon-like things to do, not just like the shrines. I do think that they are really listening to what people said about Breath of the Wild and trying to do better.
Yeah, just look. I would agree.
And I hope we come out of this. I hope we come out of this thinking that Breath of the Wild was just like the beta version to a much better game.
Yeah.
Like, and how is that possible considering Breath of the Wild was so many people's like best game of 2017? Like, still, people will still say this is the best game on Switch.
I don't think it's not possible. I mean, I think that is the way video games should be, right? Mm-hmm. Like, Super Mario Bros. Has to happen so Super Mario 3 can come along. GTA 3 has to happen so Vice City and GTA 5 can, like, the point of making sequels is to better and better mm-hmm. and better. And it should always be better. But in the ways that they've seemingly made this better in completely non-technical ways, I don't feel like we've seen a game do it in a minute. And honestly, it appears at initial glance from the footage that we've seen, it appears to be so much different, and I would say better in so many more ways than I could have ever imagined. I would have never guessed everything that we just saw. There's no way I would have guessed half of that. Like the fact that we were going to the sky, like the first time we just saw him going to the sky, I was like, okay, so that'll be the new thing. And now there's like entire what appear to be gigantic underground cities somewhere, like that look huge, that look so much bigger than the cities we ever saw on the surface. They look like legit cities, not a little town with like 3 little shops and a house. Like that was a city, like a giant city. I don't know what that was, but I'm intrigued to know more. And there's just the trailer was impressive. Impressive was the best thing I could come away. I mean, it was very, very impressive.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, me too. And I knew deep down that it was going to be this way. And I feel like all the people out there who were like, this could just be DLC for Breath of the Wild. What are they doing? This is what they've been spending 7 years on.
Yeah.
And it feels very validating.
I hate even addressing those people. I hate even talking them into existence. Like, what an asinine comment that is to even make. It's not even worthy of air. Like, I get that it sets up a really good response, but it's like, that's giving them too much justice. What a dumb thing to say. DLC, get out of here with that.
Hey, let's address some of these questions that we have from people.
Briscoe92 says, was the trailer too good that the expectations for the game are now unattainable?
No, because I felt this way for Breath of the Wild during that one really good trailer, and the game was kick-ass, and I think that'll be true for this one too.
Yeah, I think I would say that I think if it was possible that were true, they wouldn't have kicked off with such a great trailer. Mm-hmm. The reason that they're doing that is I've this whole time, what have I said? I sense that Nintendo feels like a very supreme sense of accomplishment from the lack of what they've talked about and the things they've shown and how they've shown. I get the sense that they're like, this game is fucking awesome. Like, they're not worried about it. That's the sense that I get. And I wouldn't say the same thing about Breath of the Wild because I think we got a lot more, and I think we just got more developments, and a lot of that was again the Wii U to Switch transition. But even outside of that, I think they were trying to show a lot of that game off because they knew it was different and they knew it wasn't going to hit the same. And like I never got the sense that they were sure that Breath of the Wild was going to be what Breath of the Wild was. That's why we got like those huge plateau demo. Like they were very much trying to let everybody know this is a different Zelda game. This is not what you think it is. You remember there was all these people. It's Dark Souls of Zelda. Like they were trying really, really hard to tell you what it was. And in this one, they're like trying really, really hard not to tell you what it is. They're trying so much to not say anything. And that just makes me think that they're very confident with what they've got.
Yeah, I agree.
Jules says, what are some wild theories you've heard or thought about Tears of the Kingdom's new trailer? So that was the one that I said the ones that I've mostly heard. The one where Zelda is into the broken sword, that would be, I never thought that in a million years. Like that was definitely more of the wild theory that I've heard.
Yeah, I've shared most of the theories that I have specifically. I don't know about wild theories. I mean, there's so many wild theories. I saw a wild theory that the Gorons might be at risk of extinction because we see so few of them. Yunobo is gone. We see like maybe one or two in the trailer, but like compared to all the other, like we don't really see Gorons compared to like the Rito and the Hylians and whatnot. So I think maybe it's like something weird might have happened to.
Maybe they went underground.
They might have, yeah, because I feel like maybe they would be more likely to be able to, like within the rocks and stuff.
Deuces.
Yeah.
We're out.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. Yarden says, can we hear all of Forrest Minish's thoughts on the latest trailer? I think we've done that one. Yeah. Al says, people want to know if there's dungeons in Tears of the Kingdom, but I'm wondering if there's even shrines. I think it could just be caves, temples, floating islands. I feel more like they're part of the overworld than a separate level. How do you think the game is structured?
So I think somebody did see a shrine symbol on the map at one of the trailers.
I have seen a shrine icon on a mini map. I have seen that.
That being said, people have done one-to-one comparisons of like the different areas. Like they went to Breath of the Wild to that exact spot to like see the difference. Here's what this exact spot where Link is standing looks like in Breath of the Wild. Here's this exact spot in Tears of the Kingdom. And what they did notice is that shrines and towers are gone. So maybe they sunk back down into the earth or something. How they were underground beforehand. Maybe they sunk back down. Maybe they were destroyed. Who knows? So it sounds like there will be something shrine-like where that icon is used. I could see this being something that is maybe limited to the sky, or they could just be different this time. Like they won't be the same kind of shrines, but maybe they'll be like different kinds of quests. I don't think there's going to be that many of them. I don't think there's going to be 120 of them. And I think they will look and feel a little bit differently if they are there.
I agree with you. I would just say I think there's a story element. We see that, or at least we think we've seen that he doesn't have like his old runes, right? Link doesn't have the runes. We got this new stuff.
There's no bombs.
So
bombs
without the runes, there's no shrines. Like that's kind of like the whole point. So I think there's maybe a story element to why they're not there. And I don't know what that shrine logo is there for. I'm wondering if it's a new shrine. It's a new kind of shrine. Is it even a shrine? Is it just that they're repurposing the logo? I have no idea why that icon is there.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think
it's very like actually a little scary that we haven't seen any kind of bombs at all, because I really like bombs in Zelda, and I think he doesn't have his runes. The bomb was tied to a rune before, and Zelda has the slate now. I think
they're going to craft something that does a bomb. You're going to take like an eye or something and mix it with a fire something, and it'll be a bomb.
Ooh, good point. Yeah, I think it's going to have to be something more like that if we don't have the bomb rune.
Yep. And then Edgardo writes, the characters, Link is not alone. How will the characters affect the story? Who was talking to Zelda when they were talking about the sword? What happened to Tiba? Most importantly, Zelda looks amazing. You didn't talk about her shortcut. She does look pretty excellent.
So I have to keep my hair long right now for the Taylor Swift concert that's happening that weekend. But after that, I am going to be so tempted to chop mine like hers because it looks so
with
good.
the Zelda cut. Yeah, it does.
So
That's
the
nice.
Taylor Swift cut, then I'm gonna go for the Zelda cut.
Are we gonna be able to play as Zelda?
No,
You still don't
get
think
it
so?
out of your brain. No,
I
no,
don't know.
no, no.
She's looking at the sword. She's
Yeah, so what? She's looked at the sword in many games.
just saying, you never know, right? She might pick up
No.
the sword.
Okay, she picks up the sword.
Give it to me.
The person who is talking to Zelda when they were talking about the sword and then puts his hand on her shoulder is that weird blue-faced bird like Zonai character. And the reason why I feel like he may I feel like he's going to be that character that comes across as good. He could be like the Zonai leader or something. He comes across as good-willed and peaceful and benevolent. But if you look very closely at his outfit, he has a little seal, like a little brooch. Is that what it's called? A brooch? Brooch. That if you look very closely, many people have pointed out, it looks like Ganondorf. It looks like Ganon with the tusks and the evil eyes. And
Ganondorf seems to draw. I'm getting lots of like Wind Waker vibes. You know, this Ganon.
Yes.
Yeah, seems to draw a lot from that kind of design. I mean, they're very different, but a lot of like the ornateness, the bun and stuff. It seems just very similar.
Yeah. So that's why I think he maybe will appear to have good intentions, but will not end up being so good. But yes, oh my gosh, the characters. It's like nice that we spent the whole first game like alone. I know there were other characters and they helped us, but this game definitely feels more populated. There's people who are fighting. The guy with the bucket hat. Did you see the guy with the bucket over his head who was like standing there with all the other characters? If you missed the bucket head conversation,
no.
I
I definitely don't know if there's a conversation, but I definitely saw the people with the buckets on their head.
Yeah.
They look like they're ready to go to war. Mop handles.
Yeah, they're all like ready to get. Like it's not just like fighting. Like everyone is ready to go.
The world has more believability. There's more, agency there, and that should bring it to life in a way. Because the Breath of the Wild definitely didn't have that, right?
Right.
Outside of like just the Guardians, maybe gave it some.
We saw like a little settlement in like they were trying to settle in Hyrule Castletown again. We saw like some makeshift little settlement.
So years ago, Rebecca, we're talking like 6 years ago. Like after I beat this game, I went on a podcast with Bobby, Nintendo Guru, and we were talking about like do they make a sequel? How could the sequel? We floated a bunch of ideas, and one of the ideas I floated was like, do we rebuild Hyrule? Like after everything that's happened, and I'm wondering if there's some elements there where, because what I was talking about was very much like gameplay elements. Like you actually have to, like maybe like light RPG-ish, gather resources or something to like help the villagers and like maybe clear an area, gather a certain amount of resources, do a task, whether to like, I was trying to take the idea of Terrytown and apply it in a global scale was really the root of the idea. Like this thing that I loved, how do we make more of that? Because it was completely optional. You didn't have to do it. And I am wondering if there might be something like that in the game now. Like, do you need to, is there going to be quests where you need to like raise settlements, like rebuild cities? Like, would be a part of the gameplay. It would be a lot of fun.
I don't think it's going to be a huge part of the gameplay, but I do think there will be little things like that scattered throughout the world for two reasons. Because, like I said, I think they're really listening to what the fans were saying about Breath of the Wild and trying to implement that into this game. And two things are, one, everybody was saying, man, I wish in the post game of Breath of the Wild, we could start to rebuild, Hyrule. A lot of people were talking about how much they want to see it come back to life. And then two, I think they see how much people loved the Terrytown quest. And that was like the closest thing that we had in Breath of the Wild to rebuilding, part of, a part of the world. They wanted to make this town lively. And so there were little things like that with recruiting people and, bringing different materials to Terrytown to help. And I think we'll start to see more quests like that in this one.
It could establish fast travel like things. It could establish like if you have to gain like a certain amount of territory or something, like a percentage, it could establish area. There's lots of
that would be really good.
Yeah, there's lots of things that they could weave into it. And I'm thinking with this game, especially if they don't have shrines, I'm thinking we'll have multiple types of fast travel type points and not just one. And it could just
Mhm.
be a factor, into 5, 10 different factors that you can use for fast travel. If they even have fast travel, I mean, they've given you vehicles and stuff. Maybe they don't even have fast travel anymore. Maybe they're like, dude, just build a car, like go. Like it's possible. I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
I
We'll
think there will
find
be
out.
fast travel, but I really like that idea where maybe there's different, like there's various points around the map that you could choose to build,
Yeah.
or help out with a settlement. And if you do enough to help out with
It's
it,
kind
then it
of
could become a fast travel.
shrine-like, and it may be not on the scale of a Terry Town, but like you raise a stable. Maybe it's
Yeah.
like a part of the crafting thing. Maybe like you learn to raise a stable, and then one day you can raise a settlement, one day you can raise a city. Like there's
Mhm.
my mind goes racing with ideas like that. But
Mhm.
that's the kind of stuff that I would get lost in that I think other people would be like, this doesn't, other people are like, I can't wait to try out all the combinations. If they were like, I would spend every hour doing nothing but that until that was completed before I even started with, you'd beat the game by the time I was done.
Yeah, see that to me, it's like that's not Zelda to me. Like just that feels like a sim game to me, and
Sure.
that's just not
Yeah.
Zelda. I would probably enjoy it and do it. I don't think I would get lost in it for hours like you would. I think for me, the biggest thing that I really am just like looking forward to and want to know about and hope, they really dive into is the Zonai and like a new race of characters. And it seems like they're going to do that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the case. We did see there was a new commercial leaked. I'm not sure if you saw the leaked commercial, but that's
Yep.
definitely real. It's a real commercial. We saw it.
Yeah.
So they're getting ready to start marketing and start seeing TV commercials come out. And then the last thing that I did want to mention is Hori did release an accessory line. So I am getting Tears of the Kingdom split pad pro compacts. And they released like,
Bring it up.
they're making those little, it's in the Discord. They're making those little, what do they call them? Like stands, like tripod stands and stuff. That's been a thing with the Switch for a while now. But they're having one of those and they're having a couple cases. So for anybody that
I really like the left side of the controller, but I don't like the right side.
That's what most people are saying. Yeah, I think that is like the general response to those is people are like, why can't I have, because they're doing the split pad pros and the pro compacts. And the split pad pros have a black controller. And the compacts have a white controller, and a lot of people wanted both of them. It's not my favorite design, but I will say, I'll just say the same thing I wrote in Discord yesterday. I'm wondering if these look a lot better in person. Because I get it that one of them is like very much like a wallpaper, like actual graphic image, and the other one is a design.
Like that. Yeah.
But I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them just on the grounds that I would use these 1,000 times more than buying that pro controller.
That's fair.
Just because I play most of my Switch, like I play on the go like that, so.
I think the carrying case is nicer than the official one.
I agree. Yeah. Which one do you like? I like the white one.
I like both, but I like the white one too.
Yeah. I like the white one a
that
lot.
Sword design is much nicer. I don't need a carrying case, but it's so nice. I might pick it up anyway.
I'm planning on getting the split pad pro compacts and the carrying case.
How much is the carrying case? Do we know?
I'm sure it'll be $20.
Okay, yeah. That's good.
I mean, the Hori stuff isn't very expensive. Although the split pad pro compacts, I think when they're brand new, I think they are $60. But I got mine. I got my Gengar ones for $40, $35, something like that. But I'm waiting for either Yarden to alert me or somebody, some blog somewhere, some Redditor to tell me that they're live. Wario. Whenever they're live, I'm definitely going to get them.
Oh, yeah. It's $22. It's like 3,000 yen. So
yeah.
Oh my gosh. I am so excited. I am.
Like, it's killing me. Trying not to be like, I don't know, like I'm trying not to scream and like be overhyped. Like I'm feeling all that excitement, but I'm like, I'm ready to play the game. Like at this point, I'm just ready to play.
Me too.
Yeah. It's going to be so good, Rebecca. We're going to talk about it for so long. I'm going to annoy the shit out of Dev and Delvin. Just going to be week.
These are the kinds of games where I get unbearable about.
Just Zelda.
Like people didn't know me when Breath of the Wild came out because like I was just like new to like Twitter and online and stuff. But like I'm unbearable. Like People are going to get sick of me.
I won't, but other people will. I'm here for it.
Thank you. Oh boy. They're doing a little collaboration, Zelda and Splatoon, because there's going to be a Zelda themed Splatfest right before the weekend before it releases. And I think everybody like wanted this. They're saying, how cool would it be if, and they did it. You can choose between the different pieces of the Triforce: Team Power, Team Wisdom, or Team Courage. It will take place
Team
the
Power.
weekend before May 5th through May 7th. I feel like people who pick Team Power are edgy. People who pick Team Courage are boring.
What about
People
these nerds?
Who pick Team Wisdom are correct.
Nerds. What a bunch of dorks.
Power is useless and courage is useless if you don't know what to do with it.
Oh, come on. Get out of here. Things losers say.
Okay, fine. So Team Power is edgy, Team Courage is boring, and Team Wisdom is nerdy. I'll take it.
Edgy. I love you went to the, you're just trying to be edgy and cool.
Yeah,
Team Power is awesome.
It's the same people who say, for Harry Potter Sorting House, I'm Team Slytherin because I like bad and evil. Like, shut up.
I don't know what any of that means, but okay. Those were words. I typically, you know what? You're the shoe fits. I typically am the type of person. I've always liked like the heel characters. I dig a great villain. It's my favorite thing. So 100% Team Power.
Yeah.
No question.
I do like villains. I do like villains a lot. But I like Zelda, Princess Zelda. I named my dog Zelda when I was 10. I always have to do whatever Princess Zelda does.
That makes sense. It checks out.
Yeah. And I don't think there's anything else to say about that. Anything else about Zelda in general?
No, I think we covered everything. I should have sat down and maybe wrote down some of my thoughts, but I kind of wanted to just speak freely on it.
Yeah, I was going to do that too. I was going to write down my thoughts, but
I didn't want to overanalyze it. I didn't want to like sit down and like come up with every single thing that I just wanted to like, what were the things that I really took away from it? Like I said, that one of those two giant ship vehicle things going at each other. Like that was like that gives me so much excitement and intrigue. Like there's so much mystery there. I'm like, what's happening? Is that a cutscene? Why is that happening? It just set me off. This game looks so, epic is the word. It's probably a word that's overused a lot in social media, but this trailer was so grand in a way that I don't think like a lot of video game trailers or most video game trailers are or have been. I don't want to oversell it, but
it just gives you a sense of scale.
Yeah, and the scale is massive. Just massive. Like it just I'm stunned. I was literally speechless. I was like watching it and the first time I got finished with it, I was like, I don't even really know what just happened. Like I know my mind has been blown, but if you were like, what about it blew your mind? I was like, I can't even remember it all. And maybe it's like I'm getting old. I can't remember as many things anymore. But I feel like I saw 50 things that blew my mind. I can only remember 2 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Nintendo, y'all need to start sending out review codes like now if you want people to even be able to make a dent in the game.
Yeah. Yarden says, if Donnie was still on his wait for the Switch Pro to play mindset, would your mind have changed with this trailer? Probably. Yeah. This was probably the most impressive video game trailer I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. It really, really rivals that Breath of the Wild one.
The Breath of the Wild one was very dramatic, right? There was a lot of cutscene. It was very epic. This one wasn't. This was showing so much gameplay, game design, game features, systems,
story
that I'm just like in awe of. That's the thing, is we don't get a whole lot of trailers that do that anymore. And it just seems like so dense. I'm scratching for terms. They might be synonyms, but just so much stuff Really, I mean, I guess they've just spent the last 6 years just adding stuff to the game. Just a bunch of new stuff adding to the
Yeah.
game. I can't wait to play it. And you know what? There is one more thought that I had that I'll say before we transition. I don't know about you. I imagine this was probably a thing, but seeing so much of Breath of the Wild's Hyrule in tatters or in pieces or different made me want to go take like another walk around, like a good walk around, not like go play it, but like really just like get reacquainted with the Hyrule that I think I know, that I remember before this game comes out. Because watching that trailer, I was like, oh, I kind of remember that. I know that
Mhm.
that area, but it looks different. And I'm like, should I go back and like just zip around,
That's a
go
good
to
point
different places
because
and
I was gonna replay it, and it's just like not the same going back and replaying it. I think it'll have to be many years before I go back and replay Breath of the Wild. But you're right. I want to know when I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom. Oh my God, that is so different than it was in Breath of the Wild. And
yeah,
I might not be able to because that game is so big. There's so much in that world. And, I think you're right. Just maybe riding your horse through the towns or,
yeah.
going past the
Just get like
landmarks that
reacquainted with the map,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
your basic bearings again.
Like, I don't want to have to wonder, like, oh, was, that bridge broken before
Yeah,
or like things like
exactly.
that. Yeah. Because if
That's
you
what I
look,
was thinking.
they did show Hateno Village in the trailer, and there's like these giant mushrooms growing in it now. It's like, where did those come from?
Oh wow, I didn't even catch that. But yeah,
Yeah.
things like that. I just want to I might wait maybe for the week before the game, but yeah, I might just get on a horse, do a little quick travel, little fast travel, just hit the towers, hit the towns, and just
Mhm.
kind of get my bearings,
Yeah.
because it
It's a
looks
good
like it
idea.
could be useful.
It's a good idea. Might do the same. I'm sure that we will talk more about Tears of the Kingdom in the weeks leading up to May 12th. But yeah, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
Just one little quick hitter news that I thought was kind of interesting. The new Pokemon anime series is debuting in Japan. Do you remember they're doing this where they're getting rid of Ash? They're introducing these two new protagonists. It's not going to be Ash and Pikachu anymore. It's called like Pokemon Horizons or something like that. But these new protagonists, they're called Liko and Roy. And the first episode was just released in Japan, and there was a brand new Pokemon that was teased in it that has never been seen before. And people were drawing comparisons to the first episode of the original anime, where the Ho-Oh, the famous Ho-Oh flying, over the sky. Nobody knew what that Pokemon was at the time because it was a second gen Pokemon and only first gen was out. And so it looks like they did kind of a little parallel where, this main character crossed paths with this brand new, probably legendary Pokemon. Looks like this cute little bejeweled turtle during this first episode. So I thought that parallel was pretty cool.
Did you watch Ash's final battle?
No, but I heard it was awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome.
I haven't watched really any of the newer anime.
Jack and I watched it, and my wife found out. She was like, "Wait a minute, you're not getting rid of Ash and Pikachu?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, you can't do that. She's like, "They're gonna bring him back." She doesn't believe it. I'm like, "No, I think this is
they
it."
will. Someday he'll be repurposed, or
He'll show up as a gem master or something.
They're still including Pikachu. One of the main characters has a Pikachu. I feel like they have to do that for like just brand recognition because of Pikachu.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I mean, I figured we'd still see Pikachus, but I just didn't figure we'd see like a Pikachu with so much personality as like a main character.
Yeah, it's like a war sergeant type character, kind of like a Lieutenant Surge character has a Pikachu. Gotcha. But I'm very psyched that this main character, Liko, I don't know how to say her name. Such a weird choice of name. Has a Sprigatito, which is my favorite starter. So I'm very excited that Sprigatito is getting the center stage attention that it deserves.
It'll be interesting to know if the show remains as popular or becomes more popular, less popular. Like I don't watch the anime anymore either, but I'd very much like to know if anything changes. I'm assuming that Pokemon is just so powerful that nothing really matters.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right. We only have a couple more questions to hit. Most of our questions were about Tears of the Kingdom. So hit us with these last couple questions, Donnie.
Sure. Yep. We just got 2. Kyle the Pug says, if you could force any PSVG member to love a game for a day, why do I feel like this question is very pointed? Who's the lucky soul that you would pick? Person can either have no interest in the game or hate it completely.
I don't know.
I feel like Kyle wants me to say Dev. He wants me to make Dev like Breath of the Wild. But if I had to choose, probably Kyle. Probably to do the same thing. Kyle and Josh crush Breath of the Wild. They just lay
Really?
it over and over again. Yeah, it happens. It's like
Why?
a common recurring thread.
They are such boomers.
I generally think they didn't like the game as much, but I think it's one of those things where when you don't like something that everybody else like me with Final Fantasy, you just dig in, and I think they've just really dug in. So that would probably be my pick.
That'll be my pick too, but I'll do it with Devin.
Okay. Yeah, Dev is just more indifferent. I think Dev does it because he thinks it's funny. Brendan says, if there was a traveling Nintendo exhibit that went around to different museums, what would be the 5 things of Nintendo's history that would be must see?
That's a good question. 5 things of Nintendo's history. Well, there's got to be something with the original, like 1800s playing cards.
Hanafuda.
Yeah,
that's
got to be one of them.
I mean, does it?
Yes.
I'm in both ways because I'm with you. I can see it both ways. It's both roots in history, legacy, but it also isn't really what they're known for, remembered for. I get it. It's not bad. The one
Game Boy that got bombed in the Gulf War and it still works. They have that on display in somewhere.
That's a good pick.
The New York.
Oh, XBS says OG Donkey Kong arcade machine. It's good.
That was good.
I was thinking of one, but I think they already kind of I don't know if it's really that impressive anymore because they've already shown it off. But when they first made the original Mario Maker, they were showing all of these drawings and graph paper drawings of Mario levels and things that they had used to make Mario levels. And if they could have something like that with the first Mario Bros game or Mario 3 or something like that, I think that'd be really cool to be able to sift through to see on display. They could have here were the concepts that we were designing for Mario. Here are the ideas that didn't make it into the game. Things like that would be a lot of fun. And I would be very happy to see something very similar for Zelda.
That made me think of the Nintendo PlayStation prototype console.
Ooh, they definitely wouldn't put that on.
I know, but that's the question is that would have to be a must see. That would be so cool. I would want to see it.
That's true.
That's a part of Nintendo's history in a way.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, I think it's is it more a part of Nintendo's history than PlayStation, or you just think it's even 50-50? Because I don't really think it's a part of Nintendo's history. It's something they thought about, ultimately decided against,
True. But it's still so cool.
I would love, there's got to be one. I would love for a Nintendo exhibit to show us the system that they never released. There's got to be one. There's got to be 10. But there's got to be ideas that they were scoping for release that just never made it. They just pivoted and went in a different direction.
Okay, how about this? The costumes that were used in that Super Smash Bros. Commercial.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be really good.
And the Link puppets from the Link's Awakening commercial.
Yeah. Yep, those are all good. They've got to have somewhere in the depths of their archive the rarest Nintendo games ever. Right? Could they just have an exhibit here are the 10 most rare games that we've ever published?
The copy of the Nintendo World Championship NES cartridge.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If they could actually just pull off a little exhibit, here are the most rare games that we've ever made. And they could just have a couple different cartridges, CDs of just whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
They could definitely do that.
Yeah, in chat, the Muppets from E3 2015, yes. And then the 8-bit Zelda game where they tried some Breath of the Wild mechanics, yes. Yeah.
I wonder if there is ever a playable prototype of that Wii U Zelda demo we've ever seen. Because
Probably
they
not.
had a controller. Like they showed a mock-up in that trailer of what a controller, like of a control scheme. Right? They showed the gamepad with the map and stuff on it during that demo. Or they were either mock-ups or they were released after that demo. But when they showed that Zelda Wii U footage, I remember seeing this is what it'll look like on the gamepad. And I just wonder if there was ever an alpha build of it. Was that ever in the works?
That's possible.
And I would love to be able to. Could you imagine if they just had like a little kiosk? They're like, play
That
it.
would be so cool.
Like,
Then
go
people
fight.
would be like, make us a game like this.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, Earthbound
Like
64 is a good one. Whatever you could have played, like whatever playable prototype of Earthbound 64.
XPS says he'd like to play the GameCube Zelda tech demo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, I don't know. Now I'm just speculating. Never mind.
What? Tell me. You have to say.
Well, I said earlier, like, what are the consoles that you were thinking of that never saw the light of day? Boy, I would love to know what games have never seen the light of day. I guarantee you, somewhere in there is like some crossover that we never saw coming. Like they were like, there's a Star Fox Metroid crossover, or a Kirby Mario crossover, or Mario and Link. There's something somebody would dabbled with someday that we've never thought of or even considered.
Well, absolutely, because think about Metroid Dread. That game was conceived in like 2005 or 6, and they were sitting on that for like a decade or two before it ever came to light.
I would be way more excited for something like this than an amusement park.
Yeah, me too.
Like if they came out with an exhibit and they were like, hey, like come to Nintendo World where we're going to show you, we've got 10 games that never made it. I've got to go see that. Like that's so much more than going on a Mario Kart ride.
Yeah, me too. Same.
Oh, I would love that. That would be so exciting. Just we concepted these games, or what if? And could you imagine? Again, I'm just running at the damn thoughts here. Synapses fire in my brain. What if they're like, if there's a Nintendo exhibit, we've got 10 ideas that we never finished on. We just never, and we're taking a fan vote, and your vote is we're gonna make one. See? We're gonna make
that
one.
Would
Come
cause
to the Nintendo
literal
Museum.
war, Donnie. That would cause literal war. People would be killed over that.
We're gonna make one. Oh, that'd be so good. God, it'd be so good. You know that at some point Flood and Mario was supposed to be in Splatoon. It's so easy. There at some point somebody made it and they decided not to do it. And I want to know what those ideas are. What's there? What's in the treehouse? What are you hiding, Nintendo? What are you sitting on?
They're very secretive. They don't like to show what, their inner workings. And
I wonder if I think they absolutely prototyped a Virtual Boy 2. They have 1,000% they have prototyped another VR endeavor. They've done too much VR-like things for that not to be floating around back there. I think maybe when like phones started doing it with like, cardboard and stuff like that, like when it was thought to be like cheap. Remember you could buy like those, like Walgreens and CVS had like the little Nerf things you could put on your face. Like I'm wondering if they were looking around and they were like, maybe we could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Wii had one. Could you imagine if the Wii had a VR attachment?
Gosh. And then you're like
I wouldn't be
the controllers.
I would not be surprised at all if they were like, here's the headset we were thinking of doing for Wii U or Wii or something. Like, wouldn't be shocked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
it was good stuff. Good stuff. That was good to talk about. Thank you, Brendan. Well, that is it.
That's
for
it.
this episode. Man, I could talk about Zelda all day. I hope we think of more stuff to talk about next week. I just want to talk about it every single week.
Yeah, you have to jot them down. Come back. People want your theories. I want your theories. I was like waiting for that's another big reason why I don't want to dive like super far. I'm like, I just wait for Rebecca.
All right, I'll come
It's
up
like
with
the-
some more stuff for next week.
Like the easy button. I just wait for Rebecca to tell me what everybody's thinking. That way I can ask
I'll come
questions
up with some
instead of
more.
just feel dumb.
No. I think all the theories are valid. All right, that is going to do it. Look for my Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp review on Wednesday this week. And we will see you next week, Kooplings.
Goodbye. Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?